What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am recording this video preemptively. It is February 15th as of the release of this video, but I'm recording it because I would like to get out a nice She-Hulk showcase after my Valentine's Day opening. Of course, this is in the past, so I don't exactly know how it all went, what all happened. So maybe I have her at rank 4 by the time of this video. Maybe she's still at rank 3. I don't know. It's either she's at rank 3 or she's at rank 4. So we're going to have to see. If you're watching this, you probably already know. But that's besides the fact. Today is the rank 3 7-star She-Hulk Ultimate Showcase. We're going to jump right into it. The first fight here is just a classic Juggernaut in Realm of Legends. No big deal here. Just going to absolutely demolish this guy in around 40 seconds. 500,000 health. No big deal. Nullify, it's not a nullify, remove his unstoppable with my heavy attack, place that slow so he can no longer gain unstoppable, and of course we have the maximum fury passive duration against XL champions. Already with 6 furies, we're hitting 26,000 medium critical hits. The fight has barely started, and he's already down to 50% health. Now I throw this special 2 here, and that's 150,000 damage. We're at 10 furies, the fight's over. 38 seconds. The fight was over. So now I have a Battleground simulation Sasquatch here. I don't think 7-star She-Hulk is going to be the best Battlegrounds attacking champion, but she can still hold her own and definitely feels okay. I don't think she's going to be the best, science 7-star attacker in short-form content, but she can get it done. Like, this is definitely not a bad rank 3 Sasquatch showcase or takedown by any stretch of the imagination. It is definitely not bad, especially considering She-Hulk has those exhaustion debuffs, which are preventing Sassy from building up any of his Wrath of Terrax stacks. As long as I have one of those exhaustion debuffs up, Sassy can no longer gain any of his Wrath stacks. So I place them from my special 1. It's about a 75% chance to place 1 on each hit. And Sassy is, he's going down slowly but surely here. He has 3 stacks of protection already, which is sort of limiting the damage. But overall, I took down this rank 3 Sassy with my 7-star rank 3 She-Hulk in, I believe, 59 seconds is the final time here. 100% health. Yeah, so 59 seconds. Again, I'm not going to show off a bunch of Battlegrounds clips because she's not made for super short-form content. She thrives in medium, long-form content. That's what she's made for. That's where you use her. So you've already seen this clip in an earlier video from the beginning of the week, but I just wanted to show it off again for people who maybe didn't catch that video. This is against the CCP testing map Unstoppable Colossus. This is 7-star She-Hulk. No synergies, no boosts, and obviously all of this gameplay is unawakened. I do not want to awaken my 7-star She-Hulk unless they change the Mystic signature ability. Maybe I'll make a video about that, maybe I won't. Who knows? But right now, we have 67 Furies, and we're hitting 191k medium crits, 121k light crits, and this special one is a 350k crit to finish off 17 million health in 4 minutes and 49 seconds. Again, you've already seen that clip for the most part, or at least you should have earlier this week from the damage comparison video, so I'm not going to harp on that too much. But now we have an old flame of mine, an old favorite, the old stomping grounds of Abyss Luke Cage. Fun fact, if none of you were aware, I used to fight Abyss Luke Cage every single day. For 100 days straight, I fought an Abyss Luke Cage every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, for over 3 months straight. Why did I do this? Iron sharpens iron. I guess that's my only explanation. That's my only reasonable explanation as to why. But I haven't fought this guy in quite a long time, so it was only fitting for the 7-star She-Hulk showcase on my channel, my rank 3 7-star She-Hulk. It only makes sense to go and fight my old flame again with the character I've bullied him with more than probably anybody else on the entire planet. Not sure if I should be proud of that statistic or concerned, but we're not going to worry about that. Obviously, as you can see by my debuff application here, I have the Mr. Fantastic Power Sting synergy, the most powerful synergy for She-Hulk, and honestly, one of the most powerful duos in the entire game is Mr. Fantastic and She-Hulk, just because of how insane She-Hulk's damage is and how ridiculously high that Power Sting damage can get, it is quite the combo. And now having her as a 7-star, that damage just shoots up to astronomical levels. So Abyss Luke Cage has 5.7 million health, if you're not aware of the Abyss health pools. He has the highest health in Abyss, or he has the highest health pool grouping in Abyss. It's 2.7, 2.1, 4.2, and 5.7, respectively. 5.7 being the highest, where only certain champions have that level of health. Typically, it's the special champions that have, like, specific enrage abilities. But She-Hulk has 19 Furies here, and that Power Sting detonation was 99,000 damage. We just hit a 54k medium here. Again, we're not boosted. This is just the Mr. Fantastic synergy, right? The Mr. Fantastic pre-fight that is giving She-Hulk access to this massive Power Sting damage. It elevates her to a level basically uncomparable in the science class. Incomparable in the science class, should I say. No one in the science class can reach levels of damage even close to this. The She-Hulk and Mr. Fantastic duo specifically. Just She-Hulk by herself, Deathless She-Hulk can catch up, but even Deathless She-Hulk falls to the might of original She-Hulk. Her ramp up, her ceiling is just unbelievable. And when you add a 60% Power Sting based on modified attack to the equation, and you can stack that 3 times, yeah. It's a whole different ball game with the 7-star. So Luke Cage is at 50% health now. We are hitting the damage cap. We're still in the first set of enraged charges. I'm just spamming that heavy attack in the corner when I can. This Power Sting deals 154,000 damage. And again, we're at 30 Furies. We are barely scratching the surface of her ramp up, and that Power Sting damage is 5 to 6 figure numbers already. Not to mention that we're hitting the damage cap on basically every hit that's a critical hit, on top of the fact that our non-critical hits are dealing 5-figure white numbers consistently. Now, I don't even have the additional Titania synergy, which you'll see a little later, which would increase this damage even more, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Don't worry, we're getting to that gameplay. But Abyss Luke Cage, we're at 34 Furies, not even scratching the surface of 200 hits yet, and Luke Cage is almost dead. Luke Cage is almost in the absolute bin, where he used to be for a while until he got buffed. But Abyss Luke Cage always belongs in the bin because there's levels to this game, and, you know, I live up here. Abyss Luke Cage is one step below me, you know? Harvey Specter reference if you're not familiar with Suits. You know, I like this, or life's like this, I like this, or something like that. I don't exactly remember it, but I was trying to embody a little Harvey Specter there. Now let's move on to Abyss of Legends Dormammu. This is just a generic 2.7 million health Abyss fight where we're just going to bludgeon this guy to death, basically. So I'm not going to bore you with the initial ramp up. It's not a very long fight. I'm just going to get it going here. We have 8 Furies now. And the goal in this fight is to heavy counter his special 1, to place those Power Stings, and then heavy counter into my own special 1, so I can continuously gain my Fury passives and deal more and more damage. So already, the non-crit mediums are doing almost 10,000 damage with 10 Furies, and the Relic itself is gaining the attack increase from those Furies, which is something that Deathless She-Hulk does not benefit from. Original She-Hulk benefits from the Relic having the attack increase. Deathless She-Hulk does not. The Relic does not deal any trauma damage. I think that was a balance concern, if anything, right? It makes sense to not have the Relic being able to deal hundreds of thousands of damage in certain situations in Everest content. But this 2.7 million health Dormammu is already down to 50% health. I've just been rambling here, and he's already down to, now it's 43%, 42%. It just keeps going down and down, and believe me, that number is going to get smaller and smaller as I continue to ramble. 84k heavy attack crit there, only 17 Furies. We're 90 hits into this fight, and Dormammu is already basically dead. This fight is essentially over within the next couple of combos. I think 1 or 2 more special 1 baits and the fight is just done. We're dealing almost 100,000 damage on that Power Sting. Our heavy attack non-crits are dealing over 40,000 damage. And then when we crit, obviously it's hitting the damage cap. And now we go for a 19k non-crit to finish off Dormammu in 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Now, I wanted to show off this Unstoppable Colossus again, but with the Mr. Fantastic pre-fight, or the Mr. Fantastic Power Stings, the Mr. Fantastic pre-fights, and the Titania synergy. So this is full synergy. Original She-Hulk, still unawakened. I will not awaken my She-Hulk unless they change the signature ability for Mystic. I stand by that. I'll die on that hill. I will always, always, always prefer the unawakened version because the Mystic ability is so bad. But anyway. Now, we have the full synergy team, the full pre-fight synergy, the full pre-fights from Mr. Fantastic, the full synergy team from Titania here, giving her the burst damage of her base attack per debuff on the opponent. That's where that additional red number is coming from. You'll see it here in just a moment. That additional number of, I'm not sure what it's going to look like. We're going to find out once he throws this special one. But that additional burst of over 20,000 damage, that's from the Titania synergy. So the Titania synergy allows She-Hulk to deal a burst of 25% of her base attack based on the amount of debuffs on the opponent. I don't think there's a cap or a limit to it. So the more debuffs you have, the better, and the higher that damage is going to go. And you'll see how crazy it can get when you really don't care about building up your Furies. In a situation like this where you need to maintain your Furies, it's sort of tricky to play the tightrope game of balancing both the debuffs, the slow, and your Fury passives, but if you're quick enough and you're paying close enough attention to what's going on, you can definitely manage it like I did in this matchup. You can also just heavy spam against the wall, keep them in the corner, and chances are they're just going to keep throwing their special. You do lose out on a lot of the guaranteed Furies from like your basic combos and then throwing your special one, but for the most part, it still feels great. And this is the same Unstoppable Colossus that I fought in the damage comparison video, where he had 17 million health, but now, instead of She-Hulk having no synergies, now She-Hulk has her full synergy team. And honestly, full synergy 7-star She-Hulk, in my opinion here, and I might get a little bit of flack for this, but, you know, I'm going to stand my ground. I think full synergy Original She-Hulk is one of the most powerful 7-star champions in the entire game. Definitely one of the most powerful science champions, but in terms of the 7-star class, I think she's just one of the most powerful 7-stars with her full synergy team. Now, the benefit of running the full synergy team is you get access to Titania, OG Hulk, Mr. Fantastic, so there's a lot of greatness that comes with running She-Hulk and her full synergy. But as you saw in the damage comparison video, and as you've seen throughout this video, She-Hulk does not need her synergies to be anywhere near, like, a good champion. She does not need synergies at all. The synergies just elevate her from, wow, she's insane, to how is this allowed? You know, that's what the synergies do to OG She-Hulk here. We're just consistently getting that burst of 19k damage just because we have Titania on the team. Just because Titania is here, She-Hulk's heavy attacks deal an additional burst of damage on top of the massive white and yellow numbers that they deal normally. There's an additional burst of like 30 to 50,000 damage coming from just the heavy attack doing crazy things. Like, look at this. It's an additional burst of 40,000 damage just because Titania's on the team. So adding that to the amount of damage the heavies deal normally, you just get ridiculous numbers, like almost 200,000 damage per heavy attack if one of the hits crit. And if both hits crit, you could be looking at 250,000 damage. Again, to reiterate, this is 17 million health. Now we're dealing 50,000 additional burst damage from the heavy attack. Now it's back down to 40. But just, this is insanity. I can't believe that this is even allowed to exist in the game. Like, the fact that 7-star She-Hulk is just okay to be here now, 670,000 crit, by the way. It's just lunacy. So that's 17 million health in 3 minutes and 58 seconds. A sub 4-minute takedown for 17 million health. There's nothing in the game even remotely close to 17 million health in terms of Everest content. So the fact that She-Hulk is taking out that level of health pool in 4 minutes, even unboosted, or no, even no synergies, she still took out the health pool in less than 5 minutes. It was 4 minutes and 49 seconds. 4 minutes and 49 seconds with no synergies. 3 minutes and 58 seconds with synergies. Now, we're in the Grandmaster's Gauntlet. As you can see, Doom is already a fifth of the way dead, and the fight's been going on for 10 seconds. This is the real power of the Titania synergy. When you don't care about your Fury passives and you just want to deal bursts of direct damage to the opponent, you can run Titania with the full Mr. Fantastic pre-fights, and using She-Hulk to heavy spam against the corner, 4 debuffs guarantees you are dealing 19,000 burst damage. When you add the Relic debuff in, that's an additional burst of, oh, let's see, 26,000 damage. Okay, so that's every hit. So that was Gauntlet Doom, 600,000 health Doom in 35 seconds. Yeah, that was pretty nice. I'd say that was, that was solid. That felt pretty good there. So now I'm going to do the same thing on Terrax here, 757,000 health. No pre-fights, no Mr. Fantastic pre-fights. So you're going to wonder, how is this going to work? Because you can't really utilize your Furies. You can't really utilize the Power Sting that much. Well, don't worry. Even without the Mr. Fantastic pre-fights, just parry heavy with the slow, or heavy chaining with some debuffs from your Special 1 or your Special 2, you're going to deal just fine damage. And believe me, it adds up. Believe me. So we have 1 Fury right now. We're not worried about the Furies, though. We are worried about heavy spamming against the wall to deal bursts of 20,000 damage on every heavy attack. When I go for the parry and I land the heavy, that's an additional burst. Now I have the, what's it called? The physical resistance from the Hulk Relic, which is increasing the burst of physical damage that She-Hulk is dealing from her heavy attack. And not only is it increasing the burst damage, but the debuff itself is adding to the burst damage. So not only is it increasing the damage taken, but the damage itself is added to because the debuff is there in the first place. So just ridiculous. Like, this is a matchup that you would never in a million years think She-Hulk would be capable of taking. But because of the Titania synergy, she can take this with, I don't want to say relative ease, because there's definitely a level of finesse to, waiting out the rock shield and making sure you're not just dying from it. And this would be significantly easier if I had the Mr. Fantastic debuffs, all 3 of them, or even just 2 of them active. This would be way, way, way easier if I had that. But even that without it, using my health basically as currency, I take out this Terrax with She-Hulk in 1 minute and 29 seconds. No problem. Now, I barely have any health here, and I'm going against a Vision with 800,000 health, who has the Surging Vengeance node. So if you're not familiar with what Surging Vengeance is, Surging Vengeance means the opponent will throw their Special 1, Special 2, and Special 3 in succession. Now, you can manipulate Surging Vengeance with Taunt. And ironically, She-Hulk has one of the most powerful taunts in the entire game. So it's really strange how she just does so well here. It's fascinating almost that she works super well for this fight. It's kind of crazy. So again, this is 800,000 health. This is no kitty health pool. This is beyond, like everything except for an Alliance War boss in terms of health pools. This is beyond all of that because 800,000 health, yeah, that's no slouch. That is no slouch in terms of a health pool. So for her to be able to handle this in the way that she does, and I'm even utilizing the Power Sting and the direct damage from the heavy attack with the debuffs on the opponent, doing all of that, additionally having the Furies as well, increasing the base damage, it's just ridiculous. This character is unbelievable, and I am so happy to have her now, because the things I'm going to do with this champ in the future, the world is not prepared for. I don't think the world is ready for me to have access to a 7-star She-Hulk on the live server. I don't know if the world is prepared for that. So to round off this video, the final fight here is Necropolis Titania. So, I do have the Mr. Fantastic pre-fight, or I always say pre-fight, the Mr. Fantastic synergy here, so She-Hulk can apply that Power Sting. Very helpful for every fights like this, but honestly, she doesn't even need it because I took out 17 million health in less than 5 minutes with her, unboosted, no synergy. So, for a Titania who has around 8 million health, I don't need synergies, because She-Hulk has already proven she can handle fights like this no problem without synergies. With the synergies, it just becomes even easier and even faster. So, Necropolis Titania has this trap node called Take Your Medicine, where every time you parry, you place a, what's it called? Tranquilize, a passive Tranquilize on yourself of 25% potency. So that can be a little dangerous if you're trying to apply your slow and you can't. But if you just avoid parrying, then it doesn't really matter. You don't really worry about the Tranquilize because parry is irrelevant. You just go for intercepts. So as you can see, I do have Titania on the team as well. She was definitely helpful for this, but not necessary. Like, if there's one thing you don't need when you're using She-Hulk for building her Furies, it's the Titania synergy. It's just a nice additional burst of damage to have, and obviously, no one's going to complain about more damage, obviously. but you don't need it for fights like this. I had it because I wanted to run the full synergy team to show that she is an absolute monster for Necropolis Titania. So far, we are about a minute and a half into this fight, maybe even just 60 seconds. We have 12 Furies, and Titania is already down 15% health. So that number is going to go down and down and down quicker and quicker. We're already almost hitting the damage cap with 13 Furies, so you can imagine what it's going to look like when I have 26 Furies, 39 Furies, if I even get there, if I even reach that number with She-Hulk, which I honestly don't remember if I do, because she's already down 20%, and I might not even hit 40. I genuinely do not remember. I did this fight a couple of days ago, so I am not aware of how many Furies I actually ended up having. But with 13 Furies hitting 40k mediums, having that massive taunt, meaning the opponent's almost guaranteed to throw the special, you're in such control. And that's why I like She-Hulk so much. That's why she's my favorite champion. You are controlling. You have your hands on the wheel. And if you're playing well, you are going to take that car all the way to the finish line, because you are in complete control of everything you do and basically everything the opponent does. So that's the sole, like, the vital reason why I like She-Hulk is because of the control, because of what she brings to the table in terms of control and denial. Haha, I referenced the video I made earlier, and if the video hasn't come out, then that's a reference to a video that will be coming out soon about control and denial. You'll understand what I mean if you've already seen the video. I'm not sure when I'm releasing it. It might be before this, it might be after this, but that's besides the point. Now we're at 19 Furies, about to hit 20, and now we're hitting the damage cap on our special one. So, you know, that's pretty nice. The power stings themselves are dealing around 80 to 90,000 damage from the last that I'm checking. I'm watching this gameplay back. Yeah, that was 76,000 damage, so if I had all three, that would be roughly 100,000 damage from the power sting. Titania is now at 50% health, and we're just kind of cruising along here. No big deal. She is just ticking away. Even just 2 power stings is doing at least 1 to 2% of her health every time she throws a special attack. Not to mention the insane damage that we're doing from our basic hits, the damage that we're getting from the Titania synergy, the additional burst damage that adds up over time. Just unbelievable stuff here from She-Hulk. The Relic getting enhanced by the attack rating increase, so the Relic just did 60,000 damage, as well as placing a physical vulnerability, which in turn counts for a debuff, which is part of Titania's synergy. Just the whole team, the whole shebang with 7-star She-Hulk, it's just unbelievable. So now I'm at 25 Furies. I think I go for an additional 26 here. Yeah, very cheeky going for that intercept. Now that was 140,000 damage on the power sting. Yeah, this champion, man. This champion is unreal. So that's all I have for this She-Hulk Rank 3 Ultimate Showcase. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more She-Hulk content in the future, which I'm certain you do, and especially if I have her at rank 4, if you want to see some rank 4 She-Hulk content, please let me know. And if she's not rank 4, she will be rank 4 at some point, don't you worry. But yeah, that is all I have for this video. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, and I really hope that you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button and also hitting the like button. Both of those things are incredibly helpful for the channel, and it pushes the word out there to the YouTube algorithm that I'm making content people are enjoying and people are coming back to. Once again, thank you all very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm going to let this play out, and there she goes. Peace. 1 second. Almost. There it is. Peace.